You're listening to Hotepish with your host, Dwann B. Intelligent ish talk, intelligent shit talk, where we balance the profound with the profane. Political satire, celebrity and expert guests, information and entertainment, conversation and solutions. Leave your feelings at the door.
Now tuned in to that Hotepish, bringing you food for thought. No miss the first dish from the number one host, Dwann. Got enough games and jokes that can last about a couple more eons. Vibes on a million, you heard right. Debunking niggas' opinions on music, that shit light. Work being done without breaking a sweat. This that intelligent ish you need not forget. Dwann don't debate with hoe niggas. They use I feel less receipts to show niggas. Fat stand tall on opinions. Jokes to emotional haters and their minions. Need to burn one popcorn, get a drink. The Jews in the history is always in sync. Show for the real genie catching a wish. Cause you're now tuned in to that Hotepish. I know you enjoy.
What up, y'all? What up, y'all? I got some talented ass listeners, man. Shouts out to Rashad Givens for that mix right there. Shouts out to that brother. Just hit me up one day, was like, hey, I want to drop something for you. I was like, cool. I ain't tripping. Shit, I can't rap. That's for damn sure. I can play some drums. Hell, even on the drums, I ain't no damn Chris Dave. I ain't that. I ain't no Sonny Emery. I ain't no Dennis Chambers, nothing like that. But I definitely can't rap. You gotta know what you're good at and know what you're not. I can't rap or sing. I ain't rapping no Christmas gifts. I ain't singing. Hell nah. I know my limitations. What's up, Erica Kane? What's up, William Terry? William Jones? What's up, Ivor? What's up, Quanes? Thank y'all for joining. I'm gonna have some people call in. I'm gonna set the foundation for the show. What's up, Maurice, Ivor, Taj Dollars? I'm gonna set the foundation for the show. Then I want y'all to call in, because I think this is a very important discussion that we have, that we as the people compare notes. And let me start off by saying this isn't to cast aspersions on people still going to church. I don't judge. That's one of the tenets from the Bible I did take and keep. Unlike a lot of people who still go to church. I don't judge which way you go, left or right. Everybody got their own path. But for those of us who took the risk of leaving church, knowing what we've been told our whole life, like if you don't fuck with church, you going to hell, and your ass gonna be burning in the lake of fire, and the devil gonna be crip walking all over your grave, nigga, if you don't fuck with church and give me my 10%. You know, so that's a lot of mental conditioning that those of us that left the church, who grew up in church, had to fight through before we left. So I think that it's important that we compare notes. I think that it's important that we tell our stories and that we continue to provide solutions. Because it's not just about shitting on people. It's about solving problems. Church is a place that is there, or was there, should be there to solve problems. But we've seen throughout our time that there have been very few problems solved, in spite of the billions of dollars that have been placed into our churches, in spite of the tens of billions of hours of time we've done spent there. What is the net result? What's the solution? What problems that we face as a people have been solved with all of the energy that we've been putting into church, particularly over the last 150 years? Post-slavery. Because one thing about let's first start off about why we go to church. It's oftentimes, it's a misnomer that slavery, that church was beat into us. Yes, that is true in certain parts of the country with certain people. But for us, church was a time that we had on our own. The white slave masters would go to church. And church will be a time that black people can get together without picking cotton. Have some time off. Have some fun. Church slaves couldn't visit juke joints on Saturday night. So church became the juke joint, the social hour. Church is also a place where slave revolts were planned, such as the Denmark Vesey revolt of 1822 in Charleston, South Carolina. Church was a place that gave black people reprieve, and it's also a place that allowed us to keep our music chops in order. From the times before slavery, through Jim Crow, church is always, even through now, church has been a place, a cultivating ground for musicians and singers and artists. Early on in slavery, black people, do you know, were not even allowed to go to church? Church was an indoctrination place for white people. Black people were not allowed to be Christians. And not black people, slaves were not allowed in a lot of parts of the country. And I don't just say the South to you liberal motherfuckers. Slavery was in the North at this same times too. Slavery was in the North to the early 1800s. So in a lot of places, black people couldn't go to church or be Christians because white folks weren't about to give black people the same Bible they empower themselves with for us to empower ourselves. I'm just clearing up some cliches before I get all the way into it, because there's a lot of cliches revolved around the church that they don't do us any good. They just keep the problem going, and we here to solve problems. So when we were allowed to have church was much more of a social hour than anything else. And then when you get to the late 1800s, the mid to late 1800s, do you guys know how the AME church got its start? The AME church was a place that taught skills to black people. It taught carpentry, masonry, how to cut sheet metal and wood and those type skills. They're also where we had our education systems. Black people, where do you think we got the brains to invent all the things that we invented between 1850 and 1950? Before Brown versus the Board of Education. It was church-funded education. Again, I'm setting a foundation. There was once a time that the church had a useful, functional role in society. Church wasn't always a place that you gave 10% to and hoped for the best. Church used to be something that met the daily needs of Black America. Church educated our children. And also with the AME church, what they would do is when there was someone new to town, the AME church would build a house for that person free of charge. Going back to how communal we used to be as a people. The church would build that house, and the only condition was when the next person moved to town that you help use your skill to build that person a house. There was once a time that church taught all of these fundamental skills to Black America. So when you go to the late 1800s, especially before the Great Migration up north, you see church's useful function in Black society. Church at one point gave us tangible goods we can measure. We can look over and see, hey, that house right there was built by these 15 brothers at the church. That was a long time ago. That was a long time ago. Since church was also, when we go to the 60s, it was an organization ground. It was a rallying ground. Also for the 50s. And let's tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Church wasn't always non-violent. Them old churches in the 50s, Pastor Abernathy had a few shotguns in the back. There was a lot of militancy in the church at one point in the 1950s. Church really started to change after the 1960s. Slowly. And then when you get to the 90s, when you get to the 80s, the 70s and 80s, that's when televangelism pops off. And it really starts to really become about the money. Like Black folks do all the time. We learn from white folks. They saw all them white pastors getting all that televangelist money. Niggas wanted to jump in on that shit too. And then in the 90s, you started to see the commercialization of church. An example is Kirk Franklin. When Kurt Franklin's music popped off, church always kind of took a little bit from like regular songs and made them into church songs. But Kurt Franklin went all the way there with it. And through the 90s, you started to see church morph into this hybrid of place that can save you, the only place that can save you from hell, but the only thing we want is your money and your time, and we ain't giving you shit back. And that became the norm, and that became accepted. And then when you get into the early 2000s, that's when the late 90s and into the 2000s, that's when you get the mega church. Oh yeah, MC Hammer Pray, yep. That's when the mega church started popping off. You started seeing churches go from these 300-400 seat places to these 10,000 seat arenas and venues. Here in LA, Bishop Omer bought the Great Western Forum from the Lakers, and church was at the Forum for a while. Joel Osteen bought the Summit from the Houston Rockets. You start seeing these fucking basketball stadium-sized arenas. And that's around the time a lot of people really into church start to really wake up. Like, okay, all right, what's going on here? Why am I in this mega church with 7,000 people watching, but my neighborhood's still the same? And then those of us who were in church at the time, we went, and President Obama, yes, Lord. President Obama and the church and President Obama. What an incestuous relationship that was. Little did we know most of those preachers were registered Republicans, because most preachers are, because Republicans are the ones that give the money to church, faith-based initiatives, George Bush. But it became a thing. And then in 2012, Trayvon Martin happened. And Trayvon Martin was a gigantic shift in time. Not just with the relationship between white and black, police and civilian, also with civilian and church. It was like, that was such a devastating moment for Black America. A lot of Black America who was still in church at the time looked at the church like, yo, what y'all gonna do about this? And they said, pray. Then Eric Gardner happened. Then Mike Brown happened. Then Sandra Bland, Nicaea Boyd, Philando Castile. Shall I keep going? And a lot of people saw the church's cowardly response to these things that were affecting us on a day-to-day basis. So over the last 10 years, we've seen a mass exodus from church. Massive. You're right, Erica Kane on Facebook. Thank you for listening. Not one peep from Creflo Dollar. Not one peep from TD Jakes. Or every black person's favorite white pastor, Rob Parsley or Joel Osteen. Nothing. And people started to see this for themselves. So we saw a change in times, and I was part of that change. Give you a little bit of my background before I'm going to open up the phone lines in about 10 minutes. So get y'all questions ready. Get y'all comments ready. I'm going to open up the phone line in about 10 minutes. So get those questions and comments ready. So for me, I started going to church from day one. Like, I was in church when I was 3. I was in church heavy through the 80s, through the 90s. I used to play the drums in church. I started playing the drums in church at the age of 14. going to rehearsal. And I went to church every Sunday from childhood, through my childhood. But around 1996, this was my schedule. 2 services on Sunday, 8 o'clock and 11. Once a month, there was a Sunday night service I had to play the drums for. Tuesday rehearsal on the drums. Wednesday night, I played for Wednesday night Bible study, played drums for Wednesday night Bible study. Thursday night was choir rehearsal. See, Tuesday was praise and worship. People in church, the praise and worship team is different than the choir. It's different rehearsals. Music got to be tight and right. So you're speaking to someone who was in it. I was in the youth department. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, some of my best friends to this day, I ever mentioned I had a church W-2 because I did get paid to play the drums. But what I got paid to play the drums wasn't shit. Let me tell you how much I got paid. Deep Impressions that all the fat kids was the choir. You right. Man, so for me, I got paid $50 a month to play the drums for my church. And this is how committed I was to the word of Jesus at that time. Especially like when I turned 18 and got my own car. I could have gotten paid $200 a service at other churches to play the drums. I was offered $200 a service. But I was so into church when I was 18 years old, 17, 20. I was like, I do this for Jesus, not for the monetary gain. So I let the church I grew up in pimp me out of some serious cash because I was so deep into the bullshit. See, I don't talk to people as if I'm some always has known it all, always has had my shit together. I'm a flawed motherfucker like the rest of y'all. Nigga, we in this shit together. That's why I always say, man, don't ever make me your goddamn leader. I'm trying to figure it out too. I just have a good mouthpiece to where the few things that I have figured out in life, the few things, let me say that again, the few things that I have sort of figured out in life, I happen to have the talent to be able to explain these things in an entertaining fashion. That's all the fuck I am. But I'm a flawed person just like y'all trying to make my way through this shit and trying to figure it out. And that's why I was so dedicated to church. I always wanted to be the best person I can be. I remember when I was a little boy, when I was like 8 years old, I remember playing my Tonka trucks, thinking about like what I wanted to be in life. And I remember getting very clear on it back then. Crenshaw Rodeo in my backyard, playing with my Tonka trucks. I say, you know what I want to be? I want to be the best person I can be, whatever that is. That was something that I said to myself a long time ago from the age of 8, 1989, and I stuck to that. I just want to be the best person I can be. Whatever skills I have, I want to maximize those skills. You know, whatever the best friend I could be to my friend, I want to be that. Hell, that also means if you cross me, I want to be the best asshole I can be to fuck your life up. Like I said, motherfuckers, I accept all my sides, the good and the bad. They both exist. I embrace them both. But I've always wanted to be the best I can be in whatever it is that I'm doing. So church somewhat capitalized off my good nature to want to be the best person I can be. Because I was raised in a household with a woman of integrity, my mom, and a man of integrity, my father. Do y'all know that? I didn't know church people gossiped and were like fake. I didn't know church people. I would hear the stories about church people being two-faced. It wasn't until I started playing the drums and I got into my late teens, early 20s that I started to see this for myself. Because in my house growing up, my mom was always the kind of person that when we went to church, We applied what the church said. We didn't come home and gossip about people in church. We didn't come home and talk about how we better than people who don't go to church. That shit didn't fly in my household. My mom would always be like, look, whatever we learn in church, nigga, you use that shit. So my mama do her prayers about greater is he that is in me than he is in the world. My mama make me pray that when I would be taking my test at school. And that's how the household I was raised in. I was raised in a house of integrity to where the people applied the word. We didn't have time to gossip over that shit. Me and my sister, my brother, we was too busy laughing and having fun and be gossiping over other people. So that whole segment of church I didn't experience until I started playing the drums and I started going to other churches and seeing what it was. No, I'm not going to say none of it worked. Yes, some of it did work. Church is great. This is why I look at church. Church is like kindergarten, first grade. Church is a kindergarten class for spirituality. Church lets you know the fundamentals of spirituality. Church is an introductory course to the spiritual realm. And if you take it as that and you advance your spiritual science, you can get something out of it. Kindergarten to first grade, they're great. They're just not meant for you to stay there forever. You move on. Some people, they'll move on to being an atheist. Other people will move on to being agnostic. Some people will move on to Christianity, to Judaism. Some people will become Jehovah's Witnesses. Others will get into metaphysics. Some people will get into the occult sciences. We all live this life on our own journey, people. We all have our own journey. And in every part of your journey, there is something for you to take from that to propel you forward to the journey you're going through now and the obstacles you face now. And when you learn the lessons to the obstacles you face now, those lessons are going to push you forward to the next series of obstacles you face as you continue to grow. So for me, I used the tenets of church and the Bible that worked for me. Have not a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. I kept that. Thank you, church, for that game. Now I'm not giving you no more 10%. You can kiss my ass. But thank you for that. Thank you for pointing that part of the Bible out for me. That works. I can use that. I can use that. So as I continue through the early 2000s in church, I remember in 2002, we had this preacher named Mike Murdoch come. Y'all can look him up. I remember he's been under plenty of investigation. My church had this white fucking pastor come. And he had said some shit like, he had said some bullshit that I didn't even agree with. It was like, we believe real power isn't donating to the poor. Real power is donating to the rich. And when you see your pastor come up in that Bentley, it's okay. You should still donate to that man because he's a man of God. Here's a picture of that bastard. And I remember sitting there thinking, man, this is some bullshit. Most of the time, at the time, I used to agree with stuff that happened in church. But here it wasn't feeling right. And I used to be a tither. I used to give 10% of my income. I used to be that nigga. And something in me, even though I didn't want to, I gave money to this dude. And I said, you know what? This is either going to make me be a tither the rest of my life, or this is going to be the last tithe I ever give to a church or offering, whatever. And I gave some money and I moved on. And let me tell you something. That was the last time I had ever donated to church. Now, after that, I would still go. And it became more about me playing the drums than anything else. You know, sometimes you say, you know, the last, if you give somebody some money and they disappear, that was how much it cost to end that friendship. Well, that's how I felt about this particular tithe in church. This motherfucker, I should have known better because he looked like King Arthur from Robin Hood, don't he? This motherfucker looks like the King of Nottingham. Why the fuck did I give to somebody that looked like a white version of Levi Stubbs from the Four Tops? And look at his hair. I should have known he was greasy from his hair. This motherfucker looked like he lives in the enchanted forest and he shoots bow and arrows for a living. Why is he a pastor? This is like a white boy that knows how to ride deer. Like he got his own deer that he rides to go kill other deer. This motherfucker look like he got a red throne at home that he watched football in, sitting in. That shows you the power of delusion, people. I donated to this motherfucker. This Ted DiBiase looking diabolical bastard. I should have known better. But I did it anyway. But it changed. It changed my relationship with church forever. The amount of money I donated to him was well worth it. Because I never donated another dime after that. Now I'll still stayed in church another 10 years after that. Dwann, if you learned your lesson, how did you stay in church for another 10 years? Let me explain. By now I'm on the drums. I love playing the drums. Especially back then. Now whatever. You gotta pay me. You gotta pay me to put that shit together now. You gotta pay me good. But back then I just loved playing so much. I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna stay here to play. But I said this. I said, you know what? I am going to cut the faith blinders off, and I'm going to look and observe. And I'll know in my heart, in my spirit, when I'm done looking and observing. I'm going to observe. And whatever answer I have at the end of that observation period is going to be my answer. I'm not going to put any extras on it. I'm not going to go ahead and give myself a time limit, but I'll know when it's time. So after that, I just started observing and watching. And I didn't tell no one I was doing this. No one in church. No one. I just did it. I just watched. Let me record in my mind what's going on now. And in 5 years, in 2 years, whatever, if they still talking about what's coming or these things haven't gotten, I got my answer. Because one of the things that church does that puts us all at a disservice, church keeps you in a perpetual state of the past and the future. Church keeps you in a perpetual state of past and future, never in the present. All of your power is in the present. Whatever decisions you make in the present have consequences. Whether you in the present are deciding to, hey, am I going to work on that business idea that I've been saying I'm going to work on? Or am I going to watch TV? Am I going to clean up that dirty ass room I've been saying I'm going to clean up? Or am I going to put it to the side one more day? You only have the present. But church never keeps you there in the present. It's always talking about how far, how long God has gotten you. Back in the day when you used to sin, when you used to walk up and down the street and look for them light-skinned girls, and they would say, and you would take them girls back into your room and you do them drugs, and then you had a 77 Cadillac DeVille with some red shoes, and you thought you was cold, but nothing's colder than the ice of Jesus. And they have people all hooting and hollering and shit. They'd have people all jumping up and down saying, thank you, Jesus. And then they switch it to, but you know, changes are coming. Change is coming. Change is going to be here. God ain't always there when you want, but he's always on time. Let me say it again. God is always on time. And your money is coming. Your blessings are coming. Good days are coming. Lord, I'm like, okay, so, nigga, you've been telling me about the past and telling me about the future for 20 years. Anytime you need a new Mercedes, you don't ever say that Mercedes is coming. You take your ass out there and get that goddamn Mercedes. So I would see that. And then I would see all the divorces in church. How when I was a kid, all these people were married. Now that I'm grown, the only people still married in the church is my parents. And like 2 or 3 other families. Everyone else is divorced. And then you start to see the neighborhood change. All this money coming through. Don't know black people live over here no more. Now it's all Mexicans. And hell, now that church is still open. Now the white folks is moving in. And you see it for what it is. And then you got a decision to make. Do I stay or do I go? Me, I'm glad I took that time to make my decision. Because when I was gone, I was gone. And I ain't been back. When I was gone, I was gone. I'm about to get the phone lines opened up so I can hear what y'all got to say about this. We're about to take a quick 30, 45 second break. And then we're going to open up the phone lines for y'all to say what y'all have to say about this. You see the phone number down there. Get ready to make your calls. This ain't Instance and Ashtrays. Hotepish, Intelligent Ish Talk. Give me 30 seconds. All right. Phone lines are open now. 323-744-7425. That's how them Dallas niggas say it. Sim. What's up, caller? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yo, what's going on, Dwann? This is Ivor, man. How you feeling, man?
Oh, what up, brother Ivor? Good hearing from you, man. How's it going?
Not too bad, man. Sitting there watching the Cowboys get their ass kicked, man. It's doing me some therapeutic justice. Yeah. I read your post on Facebook yesterday saying you can tell most of your friends on your page was Raiders fans. I'm one of them. You know, we took an L, but it is what it is.
It's something about Raiders. I think all Raiders fans grew up with helmets on, licking windows on a short bus. You know what I mean?
Oh, ain't that nothing?
I don't even watch. Listen. Look, I don't even watch football no more. But I still like the banter because I'm never gonna turn down shit talk. So,
oh, no doubt.
And I'm an LA Raiders fan, but since the Raiders left LA in '94, I ain't got a team.
Bruh, I get it, because that's when I latched on. 83. I was sick. I was 7 years old when they won.
Okay.
So I've been a fan ever since. You know, Marcus Allen, Lester Hayes days. So I get it.
Yeah. So what's on your mind, brother?
Well, yeah, man. This topic here, man. This was needed. You know, I look at it this way. Now, my grandfather was a pastor. He was. First black man in the state of Wisconsin to have a gospel radio station.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah, and he also he had a group that traveled around the world. So I got to see as a youngster the fruits of being in the church. And we're coming up during the late 70s, early 80s. That's all we knew. So you don't think twice about things, and you get older, and you start to ask questions. And me, myself, always been, inquisitive. If you can't give me no straight answers, I look at you funny.
Yeah.
That's the thing about Christians. Everything is all based off the Bible and follow the word, this and that. But if you can't give me no answers, then, I know you're pulling my leg.
Yeah.
So my thing was, even with like Easter, one year it's in March, next year it's in April. Hell, when did the nigga die? You know what I'm saying? Like, bruh, come on, man. Last year I had a 3-piece suit on, second week of April. This year it's the end of March.
Yeah.
Now, come on. It started right then and there. I think I was 8 years old. So from that point on, and then I started listening to people. It's always the winos and the junkies that give you the truth.
Hey, that's very true.
Yeah, bro. The ones they tell you not to talk to. Oh, they don't know nothing. They washed up. Stay away from them. They give you the game. And they always used to say, yeah, y'all go to that church. The people in that church don't help nobody. Then they listen to them lies all day. I'm telling you, man. Hey, so you start to seeing it. Then you start seeing, like you said, the deceit and the backstabbing and all of that stuff, man. And 2 and 2 is 4. So as I got to be 10, 11 years old, I was done with it. Even though I had to go to Bible study and go to the radio station with my grandfather on Sunday mornings, I was done with it.
Yep.
And then I got to be 11 or 12, and they said, well, you know what? If you don't want to go, you don't got to go. So I distanced myself from it at that time. And then I got hip and started to reading certain things. And, then I'm seeing the certain aspects of the book. And it's like, man, why would a woman even want to be a Christian? The book destroys women.
Yeah. And that's the thing about it. The church, depending on where you read the book, it's going to have something for you to boost yourself up and shit on somebody else.
Man, no doubt about it.
But thanks for calling in, my brother. I got a bunch of calls on the line, man. Thanks for calling in. Good hearing from you.
Same here, bro.
Yeah. All right, callers, call on in. I can, with this system that I have, I can only take one call at a time. I don't have anything that, the way Skype works, I don't have nothing that could put people on hold on. All right, what's up, caller from 440? What's up? What's your name? Where you calling from?
What's good? This Taj Dollars calling from 239 Florida.
Florida. What's up, brother Taj?
What's good, brother? I've been telling you, asking you all the time how much it is for me to get on y'all show and sit in on the session with y'all, boy.
What show?
But hey, I love your show, man. I think y'all dudes are awesome, man. Keep spreading y'all word out there, man. Keep fighting against this white supremacy stuff, man, for real.
All right, Tyler. Yeah, you listen to our Craig Fact. Yeah, man. We gonna keep doing it. We gonna keep it going, brother.
Man, you don't. All y'all boys keep doing y'all thing. I need to get some of them beats from y'all. And to everybody listening out there, my man Dwann built like a human being back chair. Love your show, bro.
All right, Charles Dollars.
Get at me about sitting in on the session, for real, for real.
All right, for sure, for sure.
$500, get at me. I got you. I ain't gonna slow you short down. Peace, bro.
All right, man. You have a good one. You have a good one. Yeah. That motherfucker look like Charles Dollars look like one of TD Jakes' hemorrhoids. What's up, caller? What's the name? Where you calling from?
Hey, what's up, Dwann? Hey, everybody. This is Rob calling from Dallas by way of New Orleans.
Rob from Dallas by the way of New Orleans. What's on your mind?
Man, I'm loving the topic, bro. And I put in the chat that I was going to call in because I was raised in the cult. My mom, after the death of my father in '81, joined the Jehovah's Witness cult.
Ooh.
And my big brother and I were in that for a very long time, and I didn't get out. I didn't wake up from my cognitive dissonance until post Katrina, having gone through Katrina. But let me just backtrack for a second because it's something I like to just make sure people understand when folks. I don't take that word cult lightly. Like, this really was a super duper high control. Y'all may know some Jehovah's Witnesses, but
I'm glad you called in because I've noticed that about that. It's another level of extremism with them. So I'm glad you called in. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah. So let me just give this to y'all for a second. Because taking it from the kid standpoint. Obviously, the big first thing is we never ever celebrate birthdays. Okay, so if you are a person that's going to school, especially in a party city like New Orleans, Mardi Gras comes around, we don't participate. I can remember my family in the car physically driving through the parade to get to church, where we would just sit there and talk about how all of them gonna die because of idolatry. I can remember just spending every weekend was spent preaching all day long. The elders would often, and my mom remarried, and that man became an elder. So obviously now we're in this fishbowl where we have to be the perfect Jehovah's Witness. And so when you said how this stuff was real to your mom, this stuff was real to my parents. There were some Jehovah's Witnesses who were more lenient with what they allowed their kids to do. But because my stepdad was in a leadership role, you better believe if other kids could go to school functions, school dances, we definitely didn't go to anything like that whatsoever.
Oh, you was locked up.
None of the, yeah, for real.
You was locked.
Every weekend we'd be up early, sometimes at the foot of the French Quarter, preaching. Sometimes they would even come.
Hold on. I don't want to cut you off, but you had to preach at the French Quarter with all that fun, man?
You had to preach wherever you went. It was expected of you to always be preaching. And they would come
French Quarter though.
Ooh. Man, dude, they would come 2 hours school. And imagine being out after school, all you did during the day at school, and then you come outside and the elders from your church right there hand you some watchtowers. Okay, give these to your friends. That's what our reality was. And so they spoke heavily against higher learning. They wanted to keep you in a perpetual state of any day now, Armageddon's gonna pop off, and all of y'all need to be being busy being the perfect Jehovah's Witness. Now I'm gonna just fast forward. What helped me break free of my cognitive dissonance? As I got older, I started to be able to get a peek behind the curtain about what was really going on with the organization. At this point of the story, I'm a grown man. It's post-Katrina. I'm now living in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I'm getting more and more responsibilities. I'm now about to become an elder. And so now I'm being privy to these meetings and going to these people's homes and kind of talking to them from a shepherd standpoint. Dude, one of my great close friends had lupus, found out she and her husband were expecting. She couldn't take her medicine, got extremely sick. Long story short, my dear friend, as Jehovah's Witnesses teach you to not take blood, this girl refused the blood transfusion. never left the hospital. They took the baby early from her. She passed away. And right then and there, I could not make that make sense to me.
Wow.
Because I'm like, at the end of the day, what type of God is co-signing this beautiful young lady, not even 28 years old, is gone because at least she didn't take no blood. She set a good example. But the final straw for me was the Jehovah's Witnesses had a major doctrine about the year 1914 kind of being the start of the last days. Dwann, it's 2013 at this point in my story, and I'm looking at this information, and conveniently, these bastards changed their long-standing doctrine a few months before that doctrine was going to be 100 years old, basically saying, look, we know we told y'all that 1914 was the beginning of the end, but we kind of look at that differently now. Don't even worry about that. Bro, that was the last straw for me, but the hardest thing was realizing if I stepped away, literally everybody I knew would disown me.
Yes.
And that's where it's called a cult. You know it's a cult by how they treat you if you leave.
Yes.
So I would tell anybody, don't let anybody you love study the Bible with Jehovah's Witnesses. Don't let them do it. These people destroy, absolutely destroy families. And I'll leave it there because I still watch my blood pressure because quite truthfully, dude, I lost a life in that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
I'm glad though that I'm able to give my kids a real childhood and let them be excited about whatever we choose to celebrate, however we choose to honor them and enjoy just life. But to go about life with literally everybody I see having in the back of my mind, always messed up, Dwann and his family gonna get destroyed because they're not Jehovah's Witnesses. That's so unfortunate. Dude, what kind of way of living is that?
That's not cool, man. I appreciate your call, man. Good to hear your point of view.
Appreciate it, D.
Thank you. All right, caller who just call back. I didn't answer your phone in time. I give this shit 2 rings. That's how my shit set up. So I didn't hit the green button in time. Call back. But for those who don't know, Easter, because I always say when it comes to the calendar, when it comes to these celebrations that we have, they're all astrological. They're all astrological events. Easter falls on the first Sunday after the first full moon of the vernal equinox. The vernal equinox, March 20th or 21st, depending on where you are, is and has always been in the northern hemisphere the first day of the year. That used to be the first day of the year. So when we're talking about Jesus going to the pits of hell and rising on the 3rd day, it's talking about the first full moon after the equinox. First day of the year. Astrological history. What's up, caller? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, no, man. This is Reds with calling from Houston, Texas, my brother.
What's up, man? What's up, Red? What's on your mind?
Oh, man, I was just kind of listening to y'all talking about the churches and all. And I was my father was a minister, and I was born and raised in church. We went to church 7 days a week.
Ooh, 7.
And my whole thing with the church is, man, is that even as a child, myself, when my father been a minister, I always wanted to know the truth. And when I was old enough to read, I read some things that just did not coincide with what they were saying. And right now, one of my prayers, man, is that I just wish God would let us know the truth about ourselves and about God, period. And when I go to church, I never hear them preach the truth. I hear them preach some things, but never the actual truth. I never hear them go into the scriptures about how black people were taken into slavery, how we were going to be afflicted for 100 years. I never, ever hear them preach about that. I always wonder why. And a lot of these ministers, the reason why people not going to churches is because people are tired of getting lied to. They are tired of not being fed. And when you go to church, the average person that goes to church that hasn't been to church looking for change. And then when they get to church, they get used, man.
That's true.
this one guy knew that was a minister, and I was trying to help him out with his new ministry. And so, like, I never heard him preach. And then when I did hear him preach, he more or less attacked all his members. Y'all need to stop drinking. You need to stop doing this. So I listened to him a couple of Sundays. So I put him to the side and say, man, you're not going to have a church if you keep that up. You're telling people they're doing wrong, but you're not giving anyone solutions.
Yes.
All right, I know I'm wrong for drinking, but tell me how to stop drinking. I know I'm wrong for committing adultery, but tell me how to build the strength to stop. You never hear that. All you hear is attacks. And so these ministers, man, with this pandemic that, when I drove by the church and I saw all these churches shut down, that was an eye-opener to me. And say, man, things are going to change. And unless these ministers start preaching the truth, man, they forget about the little meal tickets they had for I don't know how many years. So
100%, man.
Don't get me wrong. I believe in a higher power.
Yeah.
But also, after my reading and researching and finding out that these stories have been written over and over and over, that's why I said that my prayer is I want to know the truth. Whatever the truth is, if it's going to hurt my feelings or not, I would like to know the truth about who we are and who God is. So, man, I appreciate your show all the time, man. You have some good, interesting topics.
I appreciate it, man. You have a good one, brother.
Things get better, man. I'm going to shoot something to you, but yeah, I'm just in that position right now.
I appreciate you, man. You have a good one.
Show, man. Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. He made a good point. Church uses people. The church uses people. People come in with an open heart, open mind. They really want to help. And they use them and use them up and then let them go. What's up, caller from 909? What's the name? Where you calling from?
Hey, what's up, Dwann? It's Aaron, man.
What's up, Aaron?
Chilling.
Oh, Aaron G. Oh, you, nigga. What's up, dog?
Oh, shit. Chilling, nigga. About to get off work, sitting here wasting these white employers' time listening to you.
Yeah, yes, sir. What's on your mind, brother?
I just called to, I'll weigh in on the topic real quick. I left the church when them niggas told me that Jesus was a December Capricorn. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Capricorn.
Name one nigga born at the end of December that'll die for a stranger's sin. Go ahead, I'll wait. Nigga, we ain't built like that. My birthday's December 30th, man. We don't do that shit.
Yeah, you ain't dying for shit. You Capricorns ain't dying for a goddamn thing, huh?
Hell no. We don't give a fuck about, we'll die for family. Our kids. Nigga, some strange nigga that ain't even born yet? No, fuck no.
Yeah, man. That's what's up, man.
But for real, there was too many questions that I had that couldn't get answered. Like, okay, Adam and Eve was the first man and woman, right?
Yeah.
Okay, their first two kids were boys, Cain and Abel, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, when they got of age, them niggas left the house and got married. To who?
I think what they're trying to say is a dolphin fucked the elephant and created a human, and those are the bitches that Cain and Abel was fucking before they killed each other. You know what I mean? I don't know. That reason sounds good as anything else that I've heard.
Right? I'm just like, so if you can't answer me simple shit like that, and then what really did it was I read the Bible for myself cover to cover, and there was just so much shit that I couldn't get behind that I read, and I'm like, God's a dick, nigga.
Yeah. That's a good point, brother.
Who sends bears to kill little kids for calling a bald motherfucker bald?
Yeah, man. But shit, man. Thanks for calling, brother.
All right. Hey, peace, man. Stay up and we got to get back together and hang out for a fight or something.
All right, man. You have a good one.
Peace.
That's Aaron. He booked me and Larry on a comedy show. Like, that was the first COVID show I did after COVID had hit. That was a fun show, like back in 2020. Shouts out to Aaron. What's up, caller? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Taj Dollars back to get on point with you, brother. And I hear everything you're saying about the Bible and all that. A lot of people don't realize 3 people said something that was so smart to me. It goes, Judy Christian and Mercy. Death is secondhand knowledge. Mel Williams. Preachers are no more than spiritual drug dealers. And Neely Fuller said it best. The only thing you really need to know about the Bible is Jesus, the story of Jesus. Everything else is just bullshit around it, basically.
Thanks for calling, brother. Only one call a day, man. I got people trying to call me. I appreciate that.
All right, Pimp.
Yeah. Now go home and rub on your titties now, brother. All right, yeah. Ty's Dollar out there about to go rub his nipples to some bull to a cooking show. What's up, caller? What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Tasha. I'm calling from LA.
Oh, what's up, Tasha? I should have recognized that number.
I am calling because you remember my story when I had to take pastor to court and sue his ass. You remember when
I remember. Yes. Hey, I'm not going to tell the whole story, but I remember a few years ago, Tasha called me one day. It was long before I started this show, and she told me this stuff that this pastor was doing and said after she figured it out. I was like, God damn, that was worse than anything that I've had to deal with in some church. Well, I know your story crazy, but go ahead. What were you about to say? My bad.
And that's when I left the church. And, I started looking at African, they say mythology or whatever. And I started comparing everything in church to Santa Maria stuff. And I'm like, everything that's in the Bible is derived from African history and African worship of the sun and the moon. But my pastor was supposed to help me sell my dad's vintage Volkswagen for $7,500. He stole my pink slip and he stole my car. And he was playing me for stupid, giving me the runaround. And when I got a lawyer, his tune changed. Like, I'm not the one in the church, but you could do that too.
Yeah.
I know I look sweet, I sound sweet, but really I'm not.
And Tasha, Tasha, she ain't bullshitting when she said that, folks. keys. Inside joke.
Right.
Hey, fuck you, Rob McCoy said, put him on blast, Tasha. Fuck you, Rob McCoy.
No, he was, a pastor from Compton, and I enjoyed his word. I enjoyed the church. And like the brother from the Jehovah's Witness said, after I did all of that, the church disowned me too.
They did. Hold on. I didn't know that part. The church disowned God, because you had like a rare car that he was supposed to help you sell. He ended up keeping the shit. Didn't call you back. Didn't do anything. And then the church, the rest of the people in the church turned their back on you too?
Yeah, when I told the church what was going on, or the people who I was close to in church, well, you're supposed to forgive. If that was a nigga on the street, you ain't gonna tell me to forgive his ass. You gonna tell me to fuck him up.
Yes.
So, I'm sorry, language.
No, that's good. That's good. You good. We on YouTube.
But yeah, if it was anybody else, and my cousin too, you have to forgive him. He's still a man. He's a teacher. He's supposed to teach the word of God. He's not to be praised and worshiped like he's some God. I don't have to forgive him.
Uh-huh. And I remember when that happened, and that was a sad story, but since then things have gotten a lot better, and you learned your lesson and shit. It's all good, Tasha.
Yeah, so I have my issues with the church, and I haven't been back since.
Yeah, man. I don't blame you. That was fucked up. Thanks for calling in.
Bye.
All right. Tasha ain't lying. Tasha is one of the sweetest people you'll ever want to meet. At the same time, Tasha is somebody you don't ever want to fuck with. That's my nigga right there, Tasha. What's up, caller? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yo, what's up, man? How you doing? This is Jerome calling from New York City.
Jerome from New York City. What's on your mind?
All right, so most of my family members come from the South. We was church loving going. I came up from a dysfunctional upbringing, foster care and everything. But in all my childhood, I had been participating as a Jehovah's Witness. I personally believe that this is all bullshit from the jump. And once I turned at least 24 years old, I killed the church. It was done. No more church, no more believing any BS on the Bible. If you look at the history of the pastors in the Bible coming up, and any black person can agree with me, a lot of these pastors do not read more than a book, like the book of Genesis, the book of Deuteronomy. They don't even read half of it. Okay, I just at the age of 24, I read the book of Deuteronomy, and I finished the entire book in less than 20 minutes. And that's one thing I noticed, that they don't even finish a quarter of it. They do little sermons, they gotta donate money and all that BS. It's ridiculous. And I'm so happy that, and to be honest with you, the greatest thing that ever happened to black people is that my generation and what's coming next is no longer going to the church.
Yes.
That's it. It's no longer going to the church, man. We're starting to believe. We're starting to believe what we believe.
And
in a logical sense now.
And the result is we're starting to make some moves politically in the last 5-10 years too that we haven't made in 60.
Oh, speaking of which, one thing I know is these politicians are afraid to go to the church.
I'm sorry, what? Say that again?
They are afraid to go to the church.
Yeah.
These politicians nowadays, they're afraid to go to the church. They normally have their rallies on a secure location. Like you'll probably see them outside a public park or my instance, Times Square. But one thing I noticed in the last 5 years, you barely see these politicians go to the black churches. You barely see them.
Yes, that's very true because they know it's not effective anymore, man.
It's not effective. Nope, it's not effective anymore.
Man, but thanks for calling, brother.
Easy. And
you have a good one. Yeah, man, that's the thing. I'm glad we having this talk, people, because it's like, we're all told if we leave the church that death, destruction, and damnation is going to come upon us. And what I'm hearing so far is people who left the church, they're actually doing pretty okay. They're doing fine. And finding out new spiritual systems, new ways of thinking, new ways of being. People are accomplishing goals at a faster pace now. People are becoming less drunk on religion. Because I'm not here to totally crap on the spiritual system. I know and I believe the spiritual system of Christianity is a system that works if used properly. All spiritual systems can work if used properly. They're all different points of view of accomplishing the same goal. Getting to know who you are. Man, know thyself. If you're using your religion as a tool to help know yourself, because to know God is to know you. If you're using your spiritual system as a tool for empowerment, as a tool to push you through rough times, if you're using your religion as a means to overcome difficulties, then you're doing the right thing. You can use it for that. You can use it for that. But most people don't. Most people use church as a place to say, I went to this past Sunday, so Lord, don't send me to hell. I went to church on Sunday, so I'm better than you niggas that didn't go to church. What's up, caller? What's your name? Where you calling from? Lord, don't send me to hell.
Yep, my name is Delano. I'm calling from Niagara Falls. How you doing today, sir?
Delano from Niagara Falls. What's on your mind, my brother?
Real quick, sticking to the subject. I grew up in church. I went to church 4 days a week. But on the other side of my life, luckily, I had a community center that we used to go to every day. And they would always bring brothers in that was black and conscientious, and made me aware that we had a fight on our hands if we were ever to get justice.
Yes.
Right. So bring that back in the church. I used to always struggle with the turn the other cheek thing, but then also knowing that these black conscientious men were telling me we had to fight. And also you add in like okay, we turn the other cheek, and then we got to wait all the way to Jesus come back. That's just a...
He said all the way.
Like, I can't do... I felt power. Like, you know, there's an element of powerlessness. Like, I got to wait till he come back. I can't do nothing. I got to turn the other cheek. And I struggle with that, like that trap, that mental trap. It goes back to that thing where they block us from the now. You know what I mean? And it took me all the way till I was 24 years old when my daughter was born to just like break that struggle with me. And when my daughter was born, it was like I ain't turning the cheek for nothing, you know. For nothing after that.
Ain't turning that damn thing.
Nothing. I just wanted to share that element out there with the people and yourself, sir.
All right, man. You have a good one, Delano.
You too, brother.
Yeah.
Peace.
Yeah, it's like the reason why Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Shintoism, whatever, the reason why these religions are strong is because there's truth within it. And what the church does a masterful job of is throwing a little truth out there and tying in a whole bunch of bullshit along with it. So that's just a general rule when it comes to rhetoric, when it comes to speech. You can't just all the way lie to people. You got to give some truth. You got to give truth. And then once you give that truth that people can relate to, once you give that truth that people can feel, once you throw that bait out there, then you reel them in with the bullshit. That's how it works. That's how it works. Oh, in the meantime, if you didn't know, y'all know I got the Black American face masks and t-shirts now on hotepish.com/shop. Oh yeah, we also got the flags. We got the mask, the flag, and the t-shirt. And the hoodie. Available for you now, hotepish.com/shop. It's Martin Luther King Day tomorrow. Yesterday was his actual birthday. I got his shirt. I fear my people may have integrated into a burning house. My Scholars t-shirt. All available, and I don't know why I have apparel down there. No, /shop. Must not have used this screen lately. What's up, Ivory Green? What's up, Larry? What's up, Quan? What's up, Bug? All of these systems have something for you spiritually. You just have to be able to extract it and find out. And use what works best for you. But by no means should religion be some shit that you use to just judge people with. Or what a lot of people do. I call church a get out of hell free card for a lot of people. The only reason why a lot of people are still going to church now is because we've been indoctrinated that if you leave church, you'll get fucked up and go to hell. So a lot of people are afraid to leave and go to hell. So going to church on Easter and Christmas and their mama's birthday is enough for them to stay out of hell. Let's just tell the truth. That's how a lot of people think. What's up, caller? What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Greetings, Brother Dwann. This is Taisha calling out of Georgia.
Oh, what's up, Taisha? How's it going? Good hearing from you.
Happy New Year. Oh, you were speaking my language. Thank you for this topic. I stopped going to church back in 2014. I went to a lecture and I just found out that it was all lies. And I noticed that church goers put up a front of Jesus and religion and being holy, but they have so much SHIT going on in the background. Like, their lives are jacked up. Their children are doing crazy stuff. Their relationship is terrible. They use it as a front. And recently, I went to a church here in the Bible Belt down here in Georgia to support, some friends of mine. I respect them. So when they extended the invite to Bible study in church, I went ahead and went. And all I noticed in the church is they are giving out the whoopty whams in the lobby.
What?
Yeah. I have it on video. I have it on video. I promise you. I have it on video. And then I saw your post on Facebook. So I went ahead and I commented the picture of the church fan that had Biden and Harris. I'm like, hold on a minute. What in the world? So the church is being used as grounds for for their campaigns. That's what's going on.
Yeah.
And then the pastors are using this time on Sundays as a moment to give a monologue and talk about themselves. I'm like, well, it ain't about you. So that's what they do. But right now, there's no accountability in the church. It's a political stomping ground. Like I said, the whoopty whams are being given out in the lobby.
Lord.
The pastors are giving their life story. And then they're also giving away expired food. So there's supposedly this food shortage that's been going on. No, the churches, they're giving away bag fulls of expired food to on Sundays and Tuesdays. And then shout out to our sister Tasha who called in. We need more of us, but Black women, young impressionable women, stay out of these churches. Before you know it, you'll be a synthetic wig wearing, mumble mouth, that will not get a man. You'll waste money because church is a business. Okay, if you ain't there for recruiting numbers and also getting the money up, do not go. Stay out of these churches. So I really appreciate you, Brother Dwann. I love you so much, and I will hit up your shop. I saw you with the Black American flags. I just found out about it. Shout out to Tariq. It was on the back of his book. So thank you for providing this much-needed resource to us so that we can continue talking about ourselves and our beautiful history and legacy. I love you.
I appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing. That's Taisha XX. Get her YouTube
Absolutely.
channel.
Love you so much.
And what's the YouTube channel?
Taisha Essex on YouTube and all the rest of the social media platforms.
All right, you have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right. That's Taisha. Man, yeah, she's right, church has lost its function. And this mass exodus, let me tell you something about this mass exodus from church. This mass exodus is a good thing. It's a great thing. Because the church will either listen or die. Either way it goes, that's good for us. What's up, caller? What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is the elder.
Brother Baba Rashawn.
Hello?
Hello, Baba Rashawn, that's you?
Yeah.
Man, good hearing from you. Give us some wisdom. Please, give us some wisdom.
Can you hear me good?
Yes, I hear you good, brother.
Okay. Yeah, y'all talk about Christianity. Created at the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD under the rule of Constantine. That is something made up. They got a lot of these, entities from us, but it ain't nothing spiritual. It's like the Bible was written by King James.
Yeah, ain't nothing spiritual about it.
Right. And a lot of people talk about Jesus, but what a lot of people don't know, there's no J in the Hebrew alphabet. The alphabet J in the English language is only 500 years old. If you get a original King James Version Bible, they ain't got no J's in it. So therefore, there wasn't no Jesus.
Real talk.
There wasn't no Jesus. All that was made up. Wasn't no Europeans living in that land at that time. No way.
They weren't there. And
wasn't there.
You brought up a good point about the Council of Nicaea, because the Coptic Church, because people forget, the Council of Nicaea was 3 separate meetings over 700 years apart.
Exactly.
The first meeting, the Coptic people, the Coptic Christians, when they came up with this whole Jesus story, the Coptics was like, you know what, psst, we out. Then they had the second meeting, I forgot the exact year, but somewhere around in the 600s, and then the last meeting was in the tens. And it was at that last meeting that they codified everything. But people always ask, why did they have to wait 600 and a half year period to have all of these meetings? They had to have the wisdom die out. That simple. The people who were around in the 300s and the 400s weren't going to accept the bullshit. People had to die out.
They they had a brother named Arian in the first meeting. You remember? I don't know if you, according to the history, he was a pope.
Yes.
He from Liberia. He wasn't going for that nonsense.
Yeah. That's real talk. I thank you for calling in and bringing up that point. Y'all need to subscribe to Baba Rashawn Live. I love his channel. He's always giving good commentary. Tell the people what your channel link is.
I don't know about the link. You know, basically just type in Baba Rashawn Live and it should pop up.
Yeah, type in Baba Rashawn Live.
Yeah, because, you know, well, at my age, I don't know how to do links. I'm also on that right now. I just tell people to type my name and they'll jump up.
I appreciate you, Baba Rashawn. Thanks for calling in.
All right. Peace and blessings, my brother Dwann. And keep doing your thing.
Peace and blessings, brother. Yes.
Yeah.
How's Baba Rashawn? Yeah, and so it's a lot when it comes to this whole Christian story, when it comes to, you know, the lies that we've been told and the games that have been played with us and played with our minds. Because at the end of the day, people go to church because they want to be the best person that they can be. And I'm not here to say all churches capitalize on that. There are churches out there that you can go to. You can hear the word of God, go home, and not be caught up in the BS. They're out there. Now, I don't go to church no more, so I can't tell you where they at. But I know they exist. I know when I used to go to church and play the drums at different churches, I would see them in churches. I would see them out there with people and memberships that are there for the collective, for the community. But that's why I say this mass exodus is a good thing. The church will either listen or they'll wither away. My hope is that the church listens, because the church has done an excellent, above par job of keeping the culture of our music alive. We would like, especially when you look at the way the music industry is now, they don't push real music. The only place that kids in the schools don't teach music. Church is the place that you go to learn it and to get it. You know? So the church is either going to get in shape or shape out. Anybody else gonna call in? I know it'd be a whole bunch of people calling at the same time. I can only accept one call at a time. This particular line does not have a waiting line. I'm gonna see if I can find out how to get a line that can hold callers. Yeah, you said pastors are too prideful. That's a good point. A lot of those prideful pastors at some point ain't gonna have enough people paying their bills for them. They're gonna have to figure it out. Oh yeah, I like Ray Hagins. I like Ray Hagins, but Ray Hagins talking that real spiritual shit. He ain't on that. I like Pastor Ray Hagins. Well, you're right, ex-Pastor Ray Hagins, because now he's into the spirituality. The church people ain't fucking with Ray Hagins. And I remember when Ray Hagin started made that change. I remember I was in church, and the pastor of my church at the time was like, "Man, I think Ray Hagin done left the body of Jesus." And I didn't know what he was talking about at the time. When I got older and found out what happened, I was like, "Oh, okay, that wasn't nothing. He just found out who he was." What's up, caller? What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Lou calling from Richmond, Virginia.
Lou from Richmond, Virginia. What's on your mind, brother?
I think, me personally, what the issue I get with the church is, and I respect everybody's views, regardless, it's less about whether I think Christianity is a true religion or false. It's more about just observing what they do, based off, if you read the Bible and you see how you're supposed to behave based off how they actually act, like just something simple and basic, tithing. Tithing is not even a New Testament standard of giving. Just something simple like that. Like it says in the Bible, like, give with a cheerful heart, don't give grudgingly, but you supposed to give what whatever you feel, God leads you to give. Tithing is an old school thing. It was only for the Israelites because, the priests, they didn't have any way of making a living because they spent all their time worshiping. So tithing, and it was also just food too. That's another thing. It was food and stuff like that. So technically, if you're gonna tithe, it's just supposed to be food. But I mean, something simple like that is like they can't even adhere to that. So it's like the church, and then too, when it comes to racism, like I say, yeah, the church is like they don't even get anything done. It's like they're so cowardly when it comes to like approaching that or trying to do something currently, to try to impact that. I had a conversation with some people I used to go to church with, recently, and we were talking about racism. Everybody was on this kind of like, you're familiar with Jason Black. He was like, forgive.
Yeah.
That's basically what they were talking. And I'm trying to give like solutions and trying to break down racism to them. They just saying all this ridiculous stuff. So it's like, to me, it's like, if you just know, regardless if you believe in the Bible or not, but if you I'm just saying, they don't even follow the Bible's thing, is what's really bad about them. So it's like, it's like the church is just, it's pretty much useless to me at this point. It's like and the Bible even says where 2 or 3 are gathered, he's supposed to be in the midst. So technically, like you'd be better off just gathering with other Christians who are, more positive than actually going to the church. But it's like, because these modern churches are useless.
That's a good point, man. It's a really good point, man. Thanks for calling in.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, look, we're entering into a new age. We're in the age of Aquarius now. This new age that we're entering in, that we've been in this new world, leaders are no longer it. There are no more leaders. There's no more following a person. The new leader is yourself. That motherfucker you see in the mirror. When people who are quote unquote so-called leaders, so-called public figures, your job as a person is to take from them what you can use for yourself and apply it to your leadership journey as you lead yourself and your family. That's the new leader. And coming together with others with similar mindsets, like the caller just said. Gather around with other people. When the Bible say, where 2 or more agree, that principle is still true. But make sure those 2 you agree with, you have a mutual agreement. Don't let the agreement be, we all come together, agree to be quiet and act like we don't see all these new cars and houses pastor is getting while we judge other people. If that's the agreement, you ain't getting shit out of it. Somebody said, y'all call him talking about some good pastor. I don't have many issues with fair price. I have some issues. Like if you go back and listen to some of the shows that I did on here with Randy Short, we talked about, that was specifically Dr. Short talked about some of the things that Price did, but Price also did some good things. Like Price gave a platform to Dr. Claude Anderson. I found out about Dr. Claude Anderson as a teenager because of Fred Price. Claude Anderson actually came over to my church. And during my teen years, my formative years, the years that I'm learning how to see life and how to view life, Pastor Price brought in Dr. Claude Anderson and stood by him to the day he died. I can never minimize that. Fred Price took a lot of bullets from other pastors over 2 things: calling racism out within the church and standing by Dr. Claude Anderson. So I'm always going to give Fred Price credit for that. You know what I mean? And when it comes to tithing, I look at tithing as a good principle, but I tithe to what empowers me. Hell, I still tithe to this day. At least once or twice a month. Well, at least twice or once a month. I'm going to tithe to Jason Black or Professor Black Truth. I'm going to tithe to different people who say things. I've tithed to Tariq's projects. When I see GoFundMes of black folks doing things that seem that they can be constructive, I tithe to that. I tithe all the time, but I tithe to other black people. That's where I tithe to. I tithe to Dr. Claude Anderson's Harvest Institute. That's where I send my tithes to. Hell, I tithe to regular people. I'll see somebody online that got something going on. They got a Cash App up. Hell, even if it's their birthday, I'll put in $25 on it. I tithe to institutions that are empowered to the greater good of black society. I tithe to other black people who are in need of a little bit of help right now. They're going through a rough patch. That's where I send my tithes and offerings to. I tithe to family and give offerings to family. It's a lot of good principles that they teach in the church, especially if you learn to change how you apply them. Instead of applying it to somebody to get an extra Bentley. Yes, Erica Yates, I did tithe to Dr. Umar. Yes, I did. And that was like about a year or two. That was about 2 years after, like in 2015. Me and Craig went to go see Dr. Umar speak. And he was at some church over here in South Central LA off like Vermont and Imperial. No, Vermont and Century. And you niggas know, anybody from LA know how hood Vermont and Century is. Me and Craig Facts, we went to go see Dr. Umar speak. And yes, we both tithed. Now, I didn't say just because you tithe to black people, it's going to always work out in your favor. It's not going to always work out in your favor. Oh, while we talking tithing, this nigga's a hoe, but tithe to Larry Goodwell. This is Larry's birthday. Larry in the chat room. Tithe to that nigga. He put his Cash App up. Cash App, do you see his name? Larry Goodwell. Tithe is Larry's birthday. Larry is 178 years old. He's a genie from Mesopotamia. And now he looked like, he in his 40s and from like a regular black person. But Larry's actually a 178-year-old genie from Mesopotamia, incarnated in human form. That's why his hair looked like that. And that's why his beard looked like that. But tied to Larry's birthday, the biggest hoe on this show. Like, we all got that one friend that we know, if it came down to a crunch, as dudes, we be measuring our friends up. You know what I mean? You be measuring. I think I could beat that nigga's ass. You know what I mean? And the other ones, he be like, I probably could beat his ass, but I can't punch him. I got to like kick him in the knee first. Larry's that one friend that I know I can go straight up to him and just knock his ass out with one punch. That's I know. Like, if I ever needed a quick win with these hands, I can fight Larry Goodwell and get that. I can get that. That's one of them easy fights. I can get that. But donate to Larry Goodwell for his birthday. Type your Cash App in the chat room, ho, so they know where to go. But type your Cash App in the chat room, nigga, so I can put it on the screen. But yeah, church, like, there are some other good things about church. It's good. Like, someone in the chat just mentioned the elder mothers. I didn't read the full comment before it scrolled. But, there was a time that the mothers of the church, it is good to have. Look, church is good when sometimes you have people who they weren't raised right. Let's just tell the truth. Everybody wasn't raised right. So church is a place that you can go for the people that wasn't raised right, that didn't have that upbringing, don't have that support. People that don't have, everything that's needed. Church can fill in a lot of gaps. It's some parents, because let's tell the truth, it's a lot of parents out there who are jealous of their daughters. A lot of moms jealous of their daughters A lot of fathers not fucking with their sons. So from time to time, people need somewhere to go to get just a little bit of direction. There are a lot of churches out there who fill that gap. There are a lot of churches out there that do things for people. So I'm not here to shit on those churches. They do exist. But if you look on the screen here, if you didn't know, this is a picture of Larry. I want everybody in the chat room from 1 to 5. 1 being I'll knock Larry out in 1 second. 5 being I'll knock Larry out in 5 seconds. Or any number in between. Type in the chat room how quick you think I'd knock Larry out. 1 through 5. 1 second, 5 seconds. Eric Yates, I will do a part 2. Larry Smith saying nothing but heathens in the church. We trying to get solutions. Ben Frank said 0.5. Okay, 3. Okay, Ivor got 0.8. Okay, y'all good. 2 seconds. -5 by Aaron. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 2 seconds. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's a one-hitter quitter right there. 0.2, 3.5. Okay. Somebody said I'd knock you out in the 8th. 2 seconds. Okay. 2 hours, Eric Sanders, fuck you. Ain't gonna take me 2 hours to knock that nigga out. Come on, man. That's right, Simo 1. That beard ain't fooling nobody. That beard ain't fooling nobody. You know how Facebook be having like a history, like Facebook this day 5 years ago? And other people, somebody posted a bunch of pictures that I made like years ago on Facebook. This is back when that facing hole technology was new. This is one of them. Ready for the world. You got Craig, Screw, Larry, and Slink. This is back when I made this shit back like 10 years ago when that shit was new. Doing that. This shit was hot shit back when I dropped this picture like 10 years ago. 5 Rank said that boy looked real sassy. This is I made this one. We used to be on Facebook just. This one I would be at work on the clock, fucking around. This is another one I made. I think I made all these in the same day because this was on Facebook clowning. You got Larry right here. This is back before Larry had his beard. And Craig. Oh, this is one of my favorites too. Look at this one. You got Screw, you got Delore, Craig, and Larry. Look at this picture of Larry. Y'all know that group Switch? I call your name, girl. Hey, I think that's one of my better ones of Larry right there with putting him over the Indian dude in Switch. I swear this was like 2012. I was at work on the clock doing my progress notes, and then we started a Facebook clowning war, and I was like, man, fuck these niggas. So I created all these pictures like on the spot. Tasha always telling me to be nice to Larry. Tasha, you've been telling me to be nice to Larry for like over 10 years. Have I ever listened? Tasha, we cool, but this is nice to Larry. I haven't knocked him out yet, so I'm being nice. The Lord's still working on me. The Lord's still working on me. Ain't that what Christians say? When Christians fuck up, the Lord's still working on me. And you ever notice it's like certain words in church that they have that people only use in church that they don't use nowhere else? Oh Lord, I'm just sanctified, blessed in the Holy Spirit. Huh? You don't use sanctified in no other area of your life. Do you ever be like, okay, I'm going to go to lunch and sanctify myself from the rest of these co-workers and have my lunch in solitude? Sanctify. Because I only use words like that in church. Yeah, blessed is he that has a blessed is he. Did you say blessed? Why are you speaking old English, Sister Tulane? Don't nobody say blessed no more. Say blessed. Stop that fake shit. Blessed. Man, please. Niggas change their whole goddamn language and diction up for church. I'm gonna take this last call. What's up, caller? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, what's up, sucker? This is Larry calling from Missouri City, Texas.
And fuck you. What you want?
Hey, I know y'all were initially talking about when you left the church. You still talking about that?
Yeah.
Dog, I want to tell my story real quick. I went to a really big church in Houston. I won't say the name of it, but I went. It was like 94. This is when I left the church. 1994. I walked in. It was a quartet of white men. They were singing gospel music, and that shit was terrible, dog. Yeah, I went to an all black church. I got there late. When I walked in, it was a quartet of 4 white men. They were singing. I was like, "Oh, this is some bullshit." And then I looked.
Hell nah.
Now this is how long ago it was. It was 94. Barbara Jordan was there, and George Bush W was there. And I think he was running for governor. I can't remember, or he was trying to get reelected. But he came to church, dog. As soon as he got up, he kind of talked and he sat down, dog. I left. I walked out.
Hey man.
Go ahead.
And it was funny too, because when I was still in church, you were there when I left church.
Yeah.
Remember? Because people don't know. Like I used to have a Sunday ticket. We used to watch football on Sundays, but niggas had to wait till I got out of church to come kick you. Y'all used to have that Sativa Sunday thing going on, and I couldn't make it because I was at goddamn church.
Dog, you were always and then it went from that to you were just playing drums in church, and then you stopped going. But when I first met you, you were a church boy. That's why I think your transformation from fat church boy to fat woke nigga is great, dog. But you still fat.
Fuck you.
Yeah. All right, bitch. I'm out.
All right, motherfucker. Go.
Y'all, hey. Thank y'all. Thank all y'all listeners. And fuck Dwann. Keep fucking with it.
And fuck you, nigga. Hey, this nigga church.
Yeah,
nigga Larry lying. He wasn't in church. That nigga was in Muslim church. That nigga Larry Larry used to come over to my house, dog, and had his own carpet. And he faced east to Mecca. And I come in the house, and all I hear is dam. This nigga was quoting Malcolm X. Alhamdulillah, him. Local, lahim. I was scared. I was like, this nigga doing a seance in my house? Nah, that's just Larry over there praying to Mecca. Yeah, Tasha, I was a church boy when we met. Tasha, I'll be hitting up Tasha. I call up Tasha. We be kicking it somewhere. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta go to church tomorrow. Let me get on. Yep, y'all know. I ain't talking like no fucking expert that's always known. I had to go through this shit. I had to go through it to understand it and know it. Oh, but good news. I have my masterclass series coming out where I'll be doing webinars monthly and sometimes twice a month. Complete with handouts, question and answers. And you'll have a choice to either get one webinar at a time or you can become a member. The members will get one-on-one access with me to ask questions and to help them better off things that they learn in these masterclass lectures. The first series in the masterclass is going to be on communication. Y'all ain't going to want to miss this. I'll let you guys know when the link is up for that. When signups are ready, they'll be up pretty soon. And remember this, folks. I want to thank y'all for joining me. I'm about to go back and chill. I might do an incense and ashtrays either tonight. If I don't do incense and ashtrays tonight, I'll do it tomorrow night for y'all, all right? And remember this, there are no perfect messengers. Only perfect messages for those who are willing to pick up the game. If you're not in church anymore, if you're still in church, make sure you get something out of it. That's going to help you be a better person. That's going to help you get through your struggles and hard times. If you're not in church anymore, make sure you continue to strive for greatness. Because the reason why you went to church in the first place is to be the best person you can be. To be the greatest you can be. That strive don't stop because you're not in church anymore. I'm not saying go find a new religion. The last thing you need to do is find a new religion. Fuck that shit. What I'm saying is find yourself. Let you be your religion. Worship yourself. Love yourself. Know yourself. Forgive yourself the way the Bible tells you to forgive white people. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. The church. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Yeah, I did. Forgive yourself the way you're taught to forgive white people. Love yourself the way you're taught to love white people's attention and approval. Give yourself all of that. Worship yourself the way you worship Jesus. Tithe to yourself the way you tithe to these fucking churches. The church is you. You be the church. You give yourself everything that you were given the church, you're going to be the best person you can be. I promise you that. My name is Dwann B. We out. Thank y'all.